Hey guys, welcome back to Fashion on Tap. I'm so excited for this episode because denim. Who doesn't love denim? Historically in the US, denim was worn by the working class because of its superior durability. And in the 1950s, that's when denim began to be widely worn across social classes and genders, leading up through the present, where it's become a classic, beloved item in all of our closets, regardless of whether you consider yourself a fashion person or not. I want to talk about three companies that were really pivotal in the creation of the denim phenomenon in the US in the 20th century, and touch on, at the end, the sustainability challenges of denim, which actually are uniquely challenging in the apparel industry. Let's start with just the term denim because it reveals a lot about the origins of the fabric. 1600s Nîmes, France. They create this very durable cotton linen blend called serge denim. Voila, we have the term denim then. And later, denim is also referred to as jeans, which actually points to an earlier origin of denim in the 1500s in Genoa, Italy, where the indigo dye used to dye the denim was imported. The U.S. is introduced to denim in the 1800s through Mr. Levi Strauss from Germany. Levi Strauss comes to California, runs a dry goods store to service the gold miners and railroad workers, all partaking in the gold rush, and he sells, among those things, denim. And actually in the 1870s, Levi patents the five-pocketed jean with the brass riveted pockets that became the Levi's that we know today. The brass riveted pockets were very important functionally because it allowed workers to put their tools or to carry their tools in their pockets, and also to sit down everywhere and not have the fabric become see-through when they're sitting on like rough surfaces. Levi's is also brilliant at marketing. He creates this logo of two workhorses pulling apart a pair of Levi's jeans, trying to pull it apart to signify the strength and durability of Levi's jeans. And he's trying to signal this to his customers who are gold miners and railroad workers who can't read. I think that's just a great story as well. So Levi's is a manufacturer. They're not creating the denim fabric literally and then the jeans. They're buying it from a denim fabric supplier. And the supplier that's really important in the 20th century through the present is Cone Mill Denim. They're a North Carolina company starting business in the 1890s. And in North Carolina, they are situated next to cotton fields, warehouses, railroad lines for ease of distribution. And they begin to supply Levi's specifically in the 1910s, and that relationship continues through the 20th century. Today, Cone Mill is still known as an OG of quality denim, in part because it uses the traditional fly loom shuttles that produces super high quality, very one-of-a-kind denim that you just do not get with mechanized looms, which started happening in the later 20th century when the demand for denim exploded. The business or company that's really important on the retail scene, that gave everyone access to denim is the Gap. Most of us are familiar with the Gap, and you might have seen the Gap 1969 ads or line of jeans from like a couple of years ago, and that indicates the founding year of the Gap. Donald Fisher, real estate guy, he just had a lot of trouble finding a good pair of Levi's for himself, and so he creates the Gap, and it literally is just selling Levi's. Hard to find Levi's, which becomes so popular immediately that within the 1 year of founding in 1969, he's already opened 6 stores. And then Gap goes on to become the cultural and business behemoth that we know it to be today. It's definitely gone through many ups and downs through the decades, but still alive and kicking, and I think has like a new creative director. It does have a new creative director actually from the high fashion industry, so trying to breathe some new life into it. A really important cultural date to know in denim history in the US is the 1950s, like I mentioned in the introduction. Before the 1950s, it was mostly workers who were wearing denim. What happens in the 1950s? There's a so-called youth rebellion. Hippies are visually aligning, or they're aligning themselves with the working class and showing their solidarity by wearing jeans, even though jeans are banned in hotels, schools, and restaurants. In Hollywood, Marlon Brando's wearing jeans on the big screen, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean. Hollywood has been a trendsetter, cultural mover and shaker for a long time. So once that becomes super popular, and whatever movies that Dean and Brando and Monroe are in wearing them, many more people begin to wear it, right? Who are not using jeans necessarily because of how durable it is, but maybe because of how stylish, how comfortable, again, as a symbol of rebellion. And that's also, of course, when we're switching in large part to mechanized looms from fly shuttle looms because there's just so much more demand. One more date to keep in mind is 1980s. That's when Japan actually literally buys all the fly shuttle looms, the traditional looms that aren't being used in the US denim industry anymore, and then they buy it and start doing small batch productions. And today still, Japan is synonymous with incredible quality denim. You can definitely find premium denim in the United States, but Japan has been committed to it since the 1980s in a way that we haven't seen in the US since then. Touching on sustainability, the nutshell, to put in a nutshell, it's that denim is one of the most resource intensive item clothing that we produce today. First, it uses much more cotton, just the raw material of cotton, than other clothing items, when cotton is a crop that is super water intensive in water scarce regions of the world. So that already has an environmental impact, and there are many endemic labor issues as well in the cotton industry. Then there's also the processing of jeans. There's so many different trends that are popular in denim, acid washed, whiskered, sandblasted, many more. And they all entail extremely chemical heavy, enzyme heavy, dye heavy processes, treatment processes that are not only environmentally horrifying, but also on the labor end for the workers that are, like, for instance, sandblasting the denim is incredible. Like, the fumes are incredibly toxic as well. And so just from the resource, like the raw material resource end of fashion through to the treatment and the processing, it has one of the most terrible footprints, carbon footprints and chemical footprints in the clothing industry. I'm, of course, wearing denim as we speak, and I do have 2 denim jackets, and I will wear them forever because of its durability, and I wear them in so many different occasions. So I feel like choose carefully, invest in a great piece and wear it a lot. I mean, there are a lot of sustainability issues in the fashion industry in general, and we're actually going to talk about that in the next episode.